So you think you can't go to jail over making a Facebook post? Think again.
British authorities are threatening to hold Americans accountable for online activity.
The head of police now threatening extradition and jail time to U.S. citizens for online posts allegedly egging on the violence from afar.
It might sound ridiculous. It certainly sounds ridiculous to an American. Jail time for posting online. But that's exactly what's happening over in Europe.
Now that's some crazy shit. Bottom line. Every day that goes by, things get more absurd. We have entered the twilight zone. I'm sorry. Now this next thing that I'm going to say is probably going to make a few people mad, but it's the truth. It's always the left media, the left government that are driving these censorship policies. Because I haven't found one conservative that wanted to stop you from speaking. Not one. I may not like what you say, but you still should be able to say it. And apparently now, there are some people that want to jail you for making a post online or posting a meme. Now I'm going to play this video and I want to have a discussion about what is actually happening and get your opinion.
It truly is stunning that Trump sat down with arguably the world's smartest man in an unscripted 2-hour conversation and Kamala Harris won't field a single question. But that bravery hasn't won over the establishment. They don't like Donald Trump and they don't like Elon Musk. It's probably because neither of them can be controlled. The more the establishment tries to squeeze Musk or Trump, the more they fight. Before the conversation, White House reporters were openly brainstorming how to stop the conversation, how to censor the former president.
Elon Musk is slated to interview Donald Trump tonight on X. I think that misinformation on Twitter is not just a campaign issue; it's an America issue. What role does the White House or the president have in sort of stopping that, or stopping the spread of that, or sort of intervening in that?
Yeah, no, and you've heard us talk about this many times from here about the responsibilities that social media platforms have.
Do you believe that? So he's asking the White House to censor Elon Musk, to censor Donald Trump. This is a reporter asking the White House to perform censorship because he doesn't like it. It doesn't align with what he believes. So he doesn't think you should have the right to say it. And that's just BS. But it gets better.
When it comes to misinformation, disinformation, don't have anything to read out from here about specific ways.
The translation of that convoluted question is, how do we stop this conversation? That's the media asking for censorship, and that's the White House fantasizing about, again, gagging Donald Trump. Meanwhile, Axios reports that Kamala Harris's campaign is pushing out fake headlines on Google. The campaign is disguising ads as phony, flattering headlines from outlets like NPR, CNN, and the AP. Doesn't the campaign for Kamala Harris know they get that kind of flattery for free? They don't have to fake it and pay for ads of phony headlines. But those phony headlines read with statements like, inflation is down and Harris will lower health costs. How is this, right here on your screen in front of you, how is that not misinformation?
Yeah. It's misinformation. So the Harris campaign is putting up fake headlines and paying for them to be shown on Google. They're ads made to look like real news. That is misinformation. But I did say it was going to get better, right? You're not going to believe this.
But you won't hear anything about that because Kamala is the chosen one. Instead, what you have is USA Today calling Elon Musk a, quote, fascism-curious billionaire. And get this, a former Twitter executive wrote in The Guardian that the best way to control Musk is by issuing an arrest warrant for stirring up unrest.
Gonna arrest him now.
I don't think those are just empty words.
This is where we are. I mean, this is literally like we're living in the Twilight Zone.
Because right on cue, The European Union sent Elon Musk a threatening letter warning him not to spread, quote, harmful conduct or content that could break the EU's laws. It might sound ridiculous. It certainly sounds ridiculous to an American. Jail time for posting online. But that's exactly what's happening over in Europe. That's what's happening in the UK. Riots broke out after 3 little girls were stabbed to death at a party. And these were the worst riots the UK has seen in over a decade. Hundreds have been arrested. But not just for the violence on the streets. If you post something online that the government deems insulting or abusive or, quote, stirs up racial hatred, cops show up at your door with handcuffs.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence. And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media.
Okay, so the government in the UK is throwing people in jail. They are. They are jailing people. And I'm not talking for like 30 days. They're putting them in jail for years over a Facebook post or a Twitter post. They don't like what you post. They're thrown in jail. The most recent guy got 20 months for posting online in the UK. 20 months. You won't believe what he wrote and what they put him in jail for. He simply wrote that he didn't want his tax dollars being used to support illegal aliens. And he went to jail for that.
Their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification arrests and so forth. So it's a really, really serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
This is not an empty threat. People have been arrested for what they post on Facebook. London Police Commissioner said if you break their law, they'll come after you, even if you're Elon Musk.
We will throw the full force of the law at people. And whether you're in this country committing crimes on the streets or committing crimes from further afield online, we will come after you. Being a keyboard warrior does not make you safe from the law. You can be guilty of offences of incitement, of stirring up racial hatred. There are numerous terrorist offences regarding the sort of publishing of material.
That guy actually said he would extradite Elon Musk if he didn't like what he posted. So, how do you feel about that?
Material.
Monstrous thoughts dressed up in a fancy English accent. America might feel like a long way from sending cops into your house or making a nasty Facebook post, but how far are we really? The media just made it clear they want to see people who disobey them punished, and our government has been all too happy to do the punishing. So who's here to stand up for free speech? If we want to remain a free nation, we all have to. The establishment's biggest enemy isn't misinformation. It's an informed, free-thinking electorate.
So, yeah, they threatened to extradite Elon Musk for his posts. But threats from the UK isn't stopping Elon. Gotta hand it to him. Do respect that guy. He seriously called them out.
But he hasn't. Have a look at some of the stuff he's been posting just recently. He posted this image of 3 people convicted of different crimes but got vastly different punishments. I think we've got the image ready to show you. Here we go. On the left, you've got someone Musk says made a racist comment, got 15 weeks jail. In the middle, someone who sold anti-immigration stickers and for that got 24 months in prison. And on the far right, someone who repeatedly raped a 12-year-old girl and got a 2-year suspended sentence doing 180 hours community service with no prison time, asking what the hell is going on.
So, Elon called out the UK for putting people in jail for their Facebook posts, but letting others go for way more serious crimes. And that's just screwed up. Now, I don't know if you remember seeing this, but if you think that can't happen here, think again, because our government, well, I should say the current administration, put someone in jail for a meme that they put on Facebook.
Do you remember some years ago, maybe it was 4 or 5 years ago, there was a Twitter account, it was a troll account called Ricky Vaughn, and he posted very offensive things, and, he was, it was an anonymous account, but it was politically incorrect, it was outright offensive, okay. Then the account went away. The guy who ran that account is facing 10 years in prison He's facing 10 years in prison for posting memes. Specifically what he did is he posted these memes and it said, if you want to vote for Joe Biden, or I'm sorry, at that time I guess it would be Hillary Clinton. If you want to vote for Hillary Clinton, text your vote to 532, whatever the number was. This is a joke. Of course, you can't text your vote. Now this guy, for posting a variation on it, a meme, is going to prison. I'd like to remind you that in this past year, the Democrats changed all the election rules in key areas weeks and months before the election, completely upended them, in some places in contravention of state constitutions. So the peasants joke about elections. They get 10 years in prison. The crooked Democrats change all the election rules, get rid of election integrity measures. They get to throw the people in prison.
If this type of behavior continues, I'm at a loss for words that can actually happen here in the United States. And you better think long and hard about who you put in the White House. Because if you don't think that they will embrace what's happening in the UK over here, take it to the next level, I think you have a rude awakening coming. And it won't stop with just the loss of free speech. Digital surveillance is coming, and that will be another way that you could be tracked and forced to comply with whatever the government wants.
I think too, like if we allow ourselves to be onboarded to these digital ID systems and this, these financial surveillance systems, these programmable, surveillable currencies that they've been developing, then it's going to be much easier for them, once everyone's dependent on those new systems, to force things like carbon credits on people. This is a trial for something they want to roll out that's going to be much worse than just vaccines, but could be tied to that too, potentially in the future. You don't take a particular vaccine, your freedom of movement can be restricted again, or you say the wrong thing online, your freedom of movement can be restricted. This world is being built, and it's being built by both parties.
And this isn't far-fetched. This is coming. If you don't obey, they can make it impossible for you to participate in society. They can shut your digital wallet off so that you can't get gas, can't buy groceries, maybe you can't buy meat. Whatever they want, you will have to do. We are in some very crazy times. From the speech police, they're even on this platform. You can't say certain things. They'll take your video down if they don't agree with what you're saying. It's very unfortunate that our free speech is slipping away, and we have to stand up for our rights as citizens, for us to speak our mind. You don't have to agree with everybody, but you do have to let them say what they want to say, even if you don't like it, you don't agree with it. It's the right to free speech. It's in our Constitution, and they are trying to take that away. And the easiest way for them to do that would be through digital surveillance. And there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. I don't know if you've seen what's happened with the breach of Social Security numbers. That's going to be the instrument that they use to offer you some type of privacy or digital security. At least that's how they're going to sell it, because your Social Security number means nothing now. It's out on the dark web. So there is no privacy anymore. Every person's date of birth, their address, their Social Security number is out there. I think that's what the government will use in order to entice American citizens to switch to a digital ID. Everything's digital, and they'll sell it to you that it's more secure. You will lose all of your privacy. You will have to obey with whatever the government says, because they will own you. As always, I love reading your comments, so don't let me down. Tell me what you think of this posting online scenario, the fact that they are jailing people in the UK. What about the fact that we have actually jailed someone here in the United States of America for posting a joke online? I mean, that's just absurd. But I'd like to know what you think. And where do you think this is going? What do you think the United States of America is going to look like in the next 5, 10 years? Will you have cash in your wallet? Will you have that digital wallet? Well, my friends, I hope I provided some thought-provoking content to get your wheels spinning and to give you lots to think about. Everyone should have the right to free speech, regardless of whether we agree with each other or not. You should still have the right to say it. Now remember, if you got some value out of this video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, because I'd love to see you here with me again. It's always a good time. And remember, stay informed, stay safe, and stay free.